Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Quentin with Care Accelerator. Today, I am joined by Bryan Clayton with GreenPal.
I am CEO and co-founder of GreenPal, and GreenPal is a platform that connects homeowners and local lawn care services. So, if you're a homeowner and you need to find somebody to mow your yard, rather than calling all over the place, leaving voicemails and trying to get estimates, they can just sign up on GreenPal. They put their address in, and they start getting quotes from lawn care services nearby them, up to five. And the goal of the platform is to deliver them five quotes back in less than 60 seconds. And in most major cities in the United States, we're able to deliver on that promise. And for lawn care services, it's a platform where you can get connected with customers that need lawn maintenance, quickly submit pricing for free, get hired, and then get paid within 24 hours of the work you do. And then if that goes well, they then book you for the entire season on the platform. We have kind of marketing automation in the background that nudges them to book more mowings and then more services such as shrubs and leaves and mulch
Okay, so
and seeding and
you're
everything.
not just focused on lawn mowing. It kind of covers the whole ins and outs of kind of like property care,
It
property
it
maintenance.
it does, but lawn mowing is the primary use case, and so a homeowner that is coming onto the platform can only use it to get lawn mowing, and then once they get set up with a contractor, they can then layer on these related services. But they can't come on there and say, "Hey, I want a quote for shrub pruning," or "I just want a quote for leaf removal."
Hmm.
You have to be an engaged user of the platform with weekly or every 2 week service to be able to layer on those additional services.
Yeah, so lawn mowing's just kind of like a foot in the door for the customer and for the company to
That's right.
hopefully try and bring on some more customers and revenue and stuff.
That's the way we look at it.
Okay. So what's your background? I mean, like where did the idea of GreenPal come from? Like what did you do before GreenPal? How long has GreenPal been around, been in the market?
Yeah. GreenPal is a 10-year overnight success. My two co-founders and I have been at this thing for a little over a decade, and now we're nationwide in the United States. Around 300,000 homeowners using it to get lawn mowing services. Around 30,000 contractors using it to run their business.
Wow.
We have we have some contractors doing over $1 million a year on the platform. So everything from your fireman that just wants to do 10 yards a week to vendors running and six crews on the platform, doing hundreds of stops a week. So
Geez, really?
yeah, so we kind of service the whole spectrum of needs from contractors. And before GreenPal, I actually had a landscaping company. I started, like many of your listeners, I started mowing grass in high school as a way to make extra cash, and just stuck with that little by little. Over a 15-year period of time, built that into one of the larger landscaping companies in the state of Tennessee where I live. Eventually, over 150 employees, $10 million a year in revenue.
Wow.
And then in 2013, that was acquired by a national company. And so after that, I took some time off, took about a year off,
I would
and
too.
yeah, it almost killed me selling that business, but got it done. And and then I got bored. I thought, and it was kind of it was kind of an existential moment in my life where I realized, man, I need a project. I need a mission. I need a reason why I get out of bed in the morning and why it matters. And
Hmm.
so I thought, well, somebody should build a platform that connects buyers and sellers in the landscaping industry, because I solve this problem every day running my landscaping business. As we grew and scaled that company, we started off like everybody, just basic residential services, and slowly built it into a 100% commercial maintenance operation where we were doing nothing but apartments and HOAs and office parks and things like that. We no longer did residential work because we
Hmm.
just couldn't make the margins work. But people would still call us every day. We would have sometimes as many as 100 people a day call us, ringing our phone off the hook, wanting basic lawn mowing services. And we had a value in how we ran that business to always be helpful, no matter
Hmm.
what, to always try to be helpful to people. And so we maintained a list of names and phone numbers of smaller service providers that maybe were just getting started,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, and we would refer them out for free, and we would say, hey, we don't do, basic lawn mowing, but here, Joe's lawn mowing service does. Give them a call. And so we would do that, and most of the time it would work out, but a lot of times they would call us back and they would say, hey, I called all seven of those phone numbers you gave me. Two called me back. One promised to give me an estimate,
Yeah.
and he never showed up. I did actually hire another guy, but he flaked on me. Do you have any other recommendations? And so it became this like broken feedback. And so I saw the problem. I saw the problem
Yeah,
in
for
reality.
sure.
I thought, well, there's a reason why this is breaking, and a platform can make it easier. And so I set out to build that, and it ended up being more challenging than I thought it would be, but it's been a hell of a journey. Going from a blue collar entrepreneur to a tech entrepreneur, and building a platform that now powers around 30,000 small business owners to help grow their business.
Yeah, it so this was just an idea that you had because you saw a need, and did you end up like did you end up partnering up with someone, or like did you to like build a website? Do you guys have an app? Like did you partner up with someone to like build an app? And
Yeah, totally. Ideally, when you are starting a tech startup, you get a hacker and a hustler. You get somebody who knows the tech side, and then you get somebody that knows the business side. I didn't know any hackers. I didn't know anybody that ever built a website. So I recruited two hustlers, and so we had three hustlers, three people that just kind of had a fire in our belly to build something, and wanted to build something big. And so that's all we had going for us. We didn't know how to code. We didn't know how to build software. So
hmm
the first mistake we made is we paid like a development shop like almost $200,000 to build what we thought GreenPal should be, and that was all of our bankroll. That was like all of the money we had pulled together to get the company going. And
wow.
and they took them 9 months to build it, and it was a total failure. The app was horrible. It was hard to use. It was clunky. It didn't deliver on the promise, and so we had to
hmm
like back up and teach ourselves how to build software. YouTube University, online courses, you name it, and learn how to code, learn how to build software. And it took like 2 years, but we taught ourselves how to build software and how to build an app, and rebuilt the whole thing from scratch while talking to customers and talking to small business owners and figuring out what the tools they needed to make this thing run smoother. And that's how we did it. And little by little, we set a goal for 100 people in a week to use the app, and that took us 2 years to get there. And meanwhile, I just sold a company that was doing, 700-800 stops a day.
Yeah.
And I was trying to, and so it's kind of like starting all over again, where I was hawking this app for $40 lawn mowings, and trying to like hustle up 100 people to use it, and it took 2 years to do that.
With those 100 people, were they in your Tennessee area? Were they all over the country?
Yeah, so a marketplace like this is locally constrained. If you're in Nashville, you don't care how many contractors there are in St. Louis using it, and if you
hmm
live in Seattle, you don't care how many people in Atlanta use it, and so on. And so you have to like build every city and really suburb from the ground up, and
Okay.
you have to match contractors with suppliers, or suppliers with homeowners, and it's like a chicken and egg problem that you have to solve in every town. So we spent 3 years just in Nashville, working the suburbs of Nashville, trying to hustle up the right amount of pros and vetting them, and then marketing to consumers, and making those matches happen. So that's why it took so long to get the ball rolling and get the momentum going.
Yeah. Are you guys just in the United States?
Yeah, at this point, we're in every city in the United States, and it's taken us 10 years to do that. And we still have a long way to go in the U.S. We do extremely well in about 15 cities, but there's some cities where we don't have a lot of traction. Like for example, we do twice the number of transactions in a Knoxville, Tennessee, than we do in a Seattle, and we're trying to figure that out. Why do we suck in Washington State, but we're
Because it
great?
rains all the time, maybe?
Maybe, I don't know. Or in like St. Louis, man, there's thousands of transactions happening a day, and so it's like we're trying to figure that out. So we have a long way to go in the United States. We may go into Canada soon, but honestly, it's so hard to internationalize the business that there's a lot more low hanging fruit
Yeah.
here in the U.S.
How are you guys in Denver, Colorado?
We do good in Denver. Denver and Boulder are good markets for us. I would say maybe middle of the pack. It's weird. Like the further west we go, the harder it seems. I think the business is just different on the West Coast than it
Mm-hmm.
is in Middle America and in the South where I'm from. We do extremely well in Florida, and Georgia, Tennessee, Missouri, and then the further west you go, it's hard. It seems like it's a different business that we have to adapt to somehow.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm not sure if you know this, but Denver averages over 300 days of sunshine a year. Everyone
Yeah,
thinks it's like this cold hellscape. We get lots of snow, but that's not always the case. And it's beautiful here. If you're feeling sad, you just like look outside. You can see the nice mountains to the west, and you know,
that's awesome.
yeah. So with building GreenPal, did you guys like take feedback from lawn companies?
Yeah, it's the only way we could figure it out. It's like when you're inventing. So let me just back up. When I built my first company, built it to 150 people, 10 million a year in revenue, and sold it. I left that thinking I knew like everything there was to know about building an eight-figure business, and then I started GreenPal, and I was like, man, this is starting all over again. This is nothing like the first business. This is totally different. This is even though I'm a second time founder, I'm really starting all over again. So it was really humbling, and and uh, what I learned was is that running a traditional business, a landscaping company, a construction company, a restaurant, is hard, really hard. But inventing something brand new that does not exist in the world is like 100 times harder
Mm-hmm.
because nobody knows to use it, nobody knows how to use it, nobody knows that it exists, and it's a new way of doing things. And so, in educating people on that is a lot more challenging. So that was the
Just trying
first
to
thing
build
that
up that trust, right?
right, and there's no playbook. You can't look to a bigger competitor and just rob and steal their ideas and make them better, which is what I did in the landscaping business. Honestly, I would go to I would go to like Chicago, and I would just spend a week observing, $100 million companies. There was a $70 million company that I was learning a bunch from, and I would take them to Nashville, take the ideas to Nashville. So you can't do that when you're inventing a new product. Like
Yeah.
there is no game plan. So you have to like make it up as you go, and really the only thing you can do is listen to users, listen to customers. There's a mantra: listen to your customers, or you will have none. And so
I
we so
like
we
that.
did we did that. I know the inside of every Starbucks in Middle Tennessee, Atlanta, and Tampa because that was our first three markets. And so that's where I would meet with homeowners that would try it out. I'll say, hey, let me I'll give you 3 or 4 free lawn mowings if you would just meet with me and tell me your experience. Let me watch you use the app. And then contractors, um, I came to the starting block with this contractor mindset. I came thinking that I knew everything there was to know about running a lawn mowing business. So I thought, and there was all of these assumptions that I had that were wrong about how the platform needed to be built. And so listening, like the first 500 contractors that used the platform all had my cell number. And I would talk to them 7 days a week, sometimes 20 hours a day. And the deal I made with them was, I need you to use this platform. Quite frankly, right now it stinks. It's not very good. It's clunky. It doesn't have all the features it needs. But I've got to build it out for the consumer side first, and then I'll come back to the pro side. But I need for you to use it. I need you to quote when you get the opportunity to quote. I need you to show up and do a great job for your client when they hire you on the platform. And in exchange, I will give you free coaching and mentoring on how to grow a lawn care business. And so that was kind of the glue
That's
and the
not a
deal.
bad deal if you ask
Yeah,
me.
yeah, and
It
so
really isn't.
and man, it was like it worked because I was able to help maybe as dozens, maybe over 100 different lawn care pros grow their business like hand to hand combat, like really really help them through coaching. Even though it's not like what I wanted to do and wasn't what I was set up to do, I'd never been a mentor or a coach, but I knew the business.
Mm-hmm.
And then in turn they would give me feedback on like, hey, I wish it would do this, I wish it would do this, it'd be cool if you built this. Here's where it's breaking down, here's where the workflow is not working. And then that's how, that's how we architected the rules of the platform and the tools. And we try to strike a really good balance between pros and consumers, what consumers want and what pros want. And they're not always like aligned. Like pros want, your average lawn guy who's doing 20 yards a week would just love to show up on the day they want to and skip a week here and there, and not blow
Yeah.
the back patio, and not return a phone call. And then the average consumer doesn't want to commit to any sort of schedule, would just love to be able to push a button and have you come in 15 minutes. And so that's like what the ultimate desire of both sides of the transaction is. And we have to like strike a balance between those two ends of the spectrum and make it work for both sides.
So how do you strike that balance with lawn care companies?
Well, it's not a good fit for everybody. Of 10 contractors that sign up and use GreenPal, maybe 2 are a good fit. And so if you're too big, you're usually not a good fit. If you already have like, 3, 4, 5 employees and you're running 3 or 4 crews, usually you have your own routines, your own systems, your own processes, and you don't want another thing. You don't want another system to interact with, and you don't want to like have to do your billing through that system and so on. You have your own. And so it's usually not a good fit for your bigger contractors. Although, like I mentioned earlier, we have some doing over $1 million a year through the platform, and so they are big. But they make it work. They have a dedicated kind of processes and routines to work through GreenPal. And then on the other end of the spectrum, if you're too small or too unprofessional, you're not a good fit. So if you just don't take this seriously, you don't have the right equipment, you're not serious about being a business owner. You're not proactive in how you communicate with people. You don't like the idea of being held accountable to show up on the day you're supposed to. You're not a good fit. And so it's our job to screen those contractors out and reduce it down to the 2 or 3 that are a good fit. They're like, yeah, man, this is great. I hate doing bookkeeping and billing. I hate having to wait 60 days for my money. I hate having to do marketing. I hate having to organize all of this stuff. GreenPal is awesome. I get all the customers I want. I get paid within 24 hours. I don't have accounts receivable. I don't even know what that is. This is awesome. GreenPal makes sure that these people are staying booked with me. They help me get additional high margin add-on services automatically booked. I love it. Like that's 2 or 3 out of 10. And it's our job to like funnel it down and lock those folks in and help them grow their business. Because ultimately we don't prosper as a platform unless vendors are making more money. Like we have one metric: make pros money. Like that's it. Like that's all we care about. And every decision we make boils down to that. How do we make pros more money? What are the rules of the platform to make more money and ease the livelihood of the professionals that use the platform?
So walk me through actually using GreenPal for a lawn care company. Because myself, I have right around like 60 weekly customers. I'm by myself right now. I did have some part-time help, or I did have help over the summer, but he had to go back to school, and so I'm going back by myself. But as far as like, if I was to like sign up for GreenPal, just kind of like walk me through that process, from like signing up, like determining maybe, I don't know, minimum prices, or, submitting bids or estimates, billing the customer, communicating with the customer, and having that money, show up in my account.
Yeah. So first, if you're mowing 60 yards by yourself every week, that's pretty impressive. So you're probably not looking to bolt on 20 or 30 more. Maybe you are, but so let's start with that. Like if you already have enough work, there's no reason to sign up for GreenPal.
I want to hire someone to bring on more work, because who
Yeah.
doesn't want to make money.
Yeah, there you go. If you figure that out, and that's kind of the next step. Like I'm hiring my. So here you go. Here's a good use case. I'm hiring my first employee, and I've made a promise to them I can keep them busy. I better go find some work. Let me jump on
Mm-hmm.
GreenPal and let me gobble these customers up and to treat them like gold and build like half of my business maybe through pen and pad or however you're doing it now, and then the other half on GreenPal. We have a lot of contractors do that, so it's a great way to kind of get over a growth hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
But the first thing I'll say is like, if you don't want another 10, 20, 30, 40 customers, don't sign up, because that's the whole point. And we get a lot of contractors that quite, it's silly, but that's like, well, I'm full. Well, then why'd you sign up? It's like, and so it's like, let's start there. So let's say, okay, I do want another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 more stops, or maybe I'm just getting started. First thing you do is you sign up. It's really quick. You just upload pictures of your equipment. You set up your banking information. We use Stripe.com to process all the payments for homeowners, and then deposit that into your bank account. And then the first thing you do is you upload pics of your past work, and then you start getting bid opportunities. You'll get a text message that says, "Hey, so and so on Main Street wants a weekly lawn mowing. The average price in this zip code is $40. Um, it is 13,000 square feet. Submit your quote for free." And then you submit your quote, and then they get that quote. We like to get them 3 to 5 bids back fairly quickly. Usually, the first 1 or 2 people that bid, if their price is good and they have good reviews, get hired. And then you get hired, you get a text message. So, hey, you got to be there on Tuesday. It's on your schedule. You show up on Tuesday. You mow the yard, weed eat, blow. And ideally, you reach out to the customer before you show up, and you reach out to them after to make sure they're happy. That's what the pros that make the most money on the platform do.
Mm-hmm.
Your sloppy providers don't do either, and then sometimes things go wrong, like expectations get mismanaged, or they don't get booked for subsequent mowings. But your really proactive pros will reach out before, and then they'll reach out after, and make sure that they were happy. And they have 20. Well, say you mowed it at 10 o'clock that day, their card gets billed that night at midnight. So within 24 hours, their card is billed. And if they didn't like the service, they can raise a dispute and say, "Hey, he actually didn't mow the backyard, and I don't know why, but he completed it on the system, but didn't mow the backyard." And then they'll raise a dispute, and then you have, as a contractor, have the opportunity to satisfy that. But if everything goes well, and they did a good job, then which is 99.9% of the transactions, then their card is billed, or they'll push to pay, and then they can rate you, and then you're scored on, did you show up on the day you're supposed to, and then you get a reliability rating, and then you are scored on if they hired you for subsequent mowings, because that's an indicator of, did they like your services or not? Did you reach out after the fact? And then there's a 1 to 5 star rating that they give. Those 3 metrics dictates how you are promoted or demoted on the platform. And there's a lot of contractors that don't like GreenPal for that reason. They don't like to be.
I,
They don't.
I I can understand why.
Yeah, yeah. They don't like to be held accountable. And if they showed up whatever day they wanted, their reliability rating plummets. And if they did a poor job, they're rated a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And they have crappy ratings, and they don't get any traction on the platform. The ones that do care and maintain a good reliability rating, maintain a good star rating, and ongoing rate, prosper and get 100 customers in the first year. So it's like everything. 10% of the players are getting 90% of the business. Our platform is just like that as well. 10% of the vendors that sign up are getting 90% of the revenue.
Well, I mean, there's there's a difference between someone signing up for it, just expecting to I don't know, maybe make $1,000 an extra $1,000 a week, thinking it'll be easy.
Yeah, it
Because
ain't.
these customers are coming to me,
Yeah,
and
I mean, you can make $1,000 a week. Uh, that's very doable.
yeah.
But and I don't understand it. To me, it is easy to, you get a text message, you bid, you get hired, you just show up, you upload a photo, done. That's a lot easier than like doing it the old way, of like, I got to pass out flyers, I got to hope somebody calls me, I got to like somehow maybe I can give them a quote over the phone, and then I got to hope they pay me after I get done doing it. Like, I don't know. It just seems harder to me doing it the manual way, but it is easy uh, in a sense. But you're still going to work your butt off. You're still gonna show up on time. You're still going to work hard in the business. This is a hard business. I remember many days coming home at dark and just falling asleep on my living room carpet. Like I'm sure
Yep,
everybody can
yep.
relate to that.
I think
Um,
we've all been there.
so that's hard. That's hard. But like but it's a pretty straightforward process, I guess is my point.
Yeah, where I was going with that is that there's a difference between like those people who just think they can make a quick $1,000, like they're almost like the takers. Like I'm
Right.
just gonna take what I can, and
Right.
then move on.
Right.
And then
It's
it's
our
like, well,
job.
all they have now is that $1,000,
That's right.
as
And that's
opposed to if they could build upon that $1,000 every single week for the mowing season or for the rest of the season, whenever that may be, and take a little bit of accountability, responsibility, and just showing up and doing good work and communicating, with the customer.
anybody that would describe it as a hustle usually isn't a good fit. Um, you know, People that are looking to do that probably would need to drive for Lyft or DoorDash or something like that. Those platforms are set up for that.
Hmm.
They're set up for, hey, you're a commodity supplier, you're a commodity. Nobody cares who you are. Just show up, pick somebody up, drop off their Burger King. That's it. You can come in, come out, do whatever you want. You can hustle up $1,000. That's a hustle.
Hmm.
The lawn care business is not that way. Your clients care about who you are as a business owner. They care about, are you a proactive business owner? Do you take pride in your work?
Hmm.
Do you want to show up on time? Do you want to handle a problem and make sure that I'm happy as the client? That's our platform's job, is to promote business owners that have that type of mindset and demote and expel the ones that have the hustler mindset. And I hate to like shit on the word hustler, because sometimes I think of myself that way as well. Like everybody's got to hustle to get ahead. But you know what I mean? It's like the people that have the short term mindset
Yeah.
that they are takers. You described it really well. They don't want to like invest in a business. They don't want to
Hmm.
invest in a client base. They don't have a 3-year outlook. They just want to get by this week. It's our job as the purveyors of the platform to sideline those types of business owners.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. As far as getting set up with GreenPal, you mentioned taking pictures of your equipment, past work performed, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Um,
and that's a real simple thing. I mean, it's like 4 pics of work that you've done for clients in the past. We look at that as a way to gauge if you're legit or not. We look at pics of your equipment, but the reality is the upfront vetting is important, and that's how we screen out 99% of the bad actors. But really, what matters is the scoring when you get rolling. How often are you showing up on the days you're supposed to? What kind of ratings are you getting, and what kind of performance are you experiencing on the platform? Is how we demote and promote the ones that are doing well. The upfront vetting is important, but it's like I wish I wish that was the way that we could figure out who's good and who's not. Unfortunately, the only way we can is to observe how they perform on the platform.
let's go into actually like using the software from a business perspective. Like when I pull it up, like what am I going to see? What am I going to do? Are you guys a CRM? Is communication between you and the customer done within the app, or is it done like with your personal phone number, personal email address, and all that stuff?
Yeah, really good question. So first thing you see every time you hit the app is bids available to quote in your area. Every time you open it, and that annoys a lot of contractors because they just want to like get to their customer list, and they want to do work, but there's 3 quotes that need to be quoted, And the reason why we have it built that way, we we used to not make it mandatory to quote or not quote the lawns in your area. But what would happen is contractors would never quote any of the yards, and homeowners would never get bids, and then like the whole thing just would not work. And one of the main like bits of like the value proposition for a consumer, like the glue for them, is that they get quotes really quick,
Mm-hmm.
and they can jump on and they can go, okay, I don't have any. Okay, man, I've got 3 people that want to do it. Okay, boom, I'm hiring them. Done. And that's what makes it work. And so you got to quote them quick. And so it's mandatory to quote them if they're available. And so as a contractor, let's say it's Saturday and you're mowing on today on a Saturday. It's 11 o'clock, and you open the app to complete a job. There might be 2 quotes that you got to do, and it takes 5 seconds. Okay, it's 20,000 square feet. It's on this street. The average winning price is $45. Okay, that's a $50 yard. Boom, done. Or I'm full this week. I don't want any more. Decline, and that's it. You got to clear those out first. And so that's one of those things that where we make it mandatory to make the whole damn thing work, the whole platform work, because we tried to not, and homeowners would never get quotes and they would never hire anybody, and we would never get the flywheel going. So that's the first thing. The next thing is you see a list of here's all your customers for today. You got 20 stops today. Here's the organized route between each stop. We tap into an API with Google Maps that routes them from your shop all the way through. It's
That's
not like
cool.
yeah, and for 90% of the use cases it works, but subcontractors tell us like this isn't the fastest way to do this, and we're like, well, we got it as close as we could. Okay,
I mean, it
that's
gives you a general idea.
yeah, yeah. It's not the not fastest way. I know that.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, and it's probably better than I was doing in 1998 with no GPS. I can tell you that. But but so at least it's attempted to be organized in a optimized driving route, and you can go from stop to stop. You complete the stops, and you upload a photo of the completed work, just one photo. I know there's been other platforms that have required multiple photos. I think TaskEasy was one that came in. I don't know if they're still around, but somebody told me they wanted like 10. I think that's a little ridiculous.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the platform requires one photo of the completed work, and that's time stamped and geolocated, and is AI tracked in terms of is this a mowed yard, and so we're able to like tell on the back end. It's like, okay, are you where you're supposed to be? Is this not an old photo? Is this like today?
And
And
not a screenshot from Google Street View from
bingo.
2008 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. Or it's not a picture of your baseball cap, which in the early days when we didn't have all these tools, people would do that. Vendors would do that.
Oh
They would upload
man.
a photo of anything. And it's like, really, that's going to your customer. They're seeing that, like, so short sighted. But anyway, we have built in the tools to like safeguard against those things. And so you do that, and then that's sent to your client, and then they look at it. And we have a lot of property managers that don't live on the properties, and so their only like proof point is that photo.
Mm-hmm.
And or a lot of out of state owners and things like that, and they love it because of that. And so they get the photo, they're like, yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna log in and pay Quentin 5 stars, and then you're scored. Okay, good job, you got that done on Saturday when you were supposed to, and the money will be in your bank by midnight. um and that's how it works. And then you just work through your route, and then you can see like everything you got to do next week. And then you can always go and see what auctions you have bid. You can send an updated price if you want to any of them. And then you have a place where all of your customers are, a CRM, every customer you've ever worked with, all of their information. And then you can go in there, and then I forgot one step. After you upload the photo, we send you another screen that says, hey, do you want to go ahead while you're here, quote the shrubs, quote the seed, quote
That's
the
cool.
leaves, quote. So now all of your customers have a menu of services
Mm-hmm.
that they can just hire you for, and you don't have to go back and quote these things. They always have them. You can always go and update the pricing if you want, and your customer is notified. So it's our job to get you introduced, get you hired really quickly, get you paid quickly, and then get you booked for the whole season, and then get you booked for shrubs, feed, leaves, snow. Snow is another SKU that we built out a couple years ago, and that's how it works. And we try to keep it as simple as we can, but also as useful as we can to help pros make more money.
Yeah. G- Going into like communication with the customer, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, is that kept
Great
within
question.
the
Yeah,
app
great
or is
question.
that separate?
That was something we really struggled with because in the early days we were like, yeah, we need to build the messaging system inside the app, and it's pretty easy to do these days. There's a lot of APIs you can bolt on inside an app that'll give you a messaging service as good as WhatsApp,
Mm-hmm.
where it's real clean, doesn't take a lot of work. Um, and we decided against it because I had the viewpoint then 10 years ago and still today. Nobody wants another inbox to check.
Yeah.
Literally nobody wants that. Like, yeah, like I'll get a message from my bank, and they're like, "You have a new secure message," and then like you gotta like log in. Let me see what this message is, and they're like, "We are your bank," or some bullshit. Like it's just like you made me log in to read that, and so that's stupid. And so nobody wants another inbox to monitor, to check. I get why some platforms do, like Airbnb does, and I know like power hosts on those platforms live in that inbox. But we figured, SMS, text message works fine, email works fine, although most pros don't even check their email anymore. Um, SMS is the primary way that we push people to communicate, and so from the jump, we push homeowners, hey, reach out to Quentin and just make sure that everything's okay. Hey, Quentin, reach out to Mrs. Smith, make sure that you're going to be there on Wednesday, and that while we've told her in 9 places what's included in the quote, you probably need to go over that one more time just to manage expectations. So that's how we manage communication, and probably will for the foreseeable future, because I just don't think we want another inbox to check.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. And especially now, I've heard, there's been some issues with CRMs that integrate text messaging because there's like a new A2P standard or something like that that's just
A lot of
causing
that stuff just
so
goes
much
right in the trash.
havoc.
Yeah, it goes right in the trash. It doesn't get delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, can we talk about like pricing? Like, because I know you guys, GreenPal has to make money. Um, you know, for a business, for a lawn care business, like, what does it cost? Like, do you guys have like a monthly plan, a yearly plan, an enterprise
Yeah.
plan? Do you guys take a cut of the service of each service that's done?
Yeah, it's insanely cheap. It's only 5% of every transaction you do. So, I mean, literally, other platforms like that are trying to do something similar charge 30%. But I came at this from a contractor's mindset, and I knew I didn't. I mean, it's already a slim margin industry as it is, and so I knew that I didn't want to charge a big take rate, and I knew that I wanted to keep it as low as I could to put more money in pros' pockets. So we purposely kept it super low, so it's only 5% of the work that you do through the platform, and there is, other than that, there's no other fees. It's totally free to use. And we have a lot of contractors that come onto the platform, get 10 customers, and they're like, man, I'm just going to start doing it this way. And we have a tool where they can invite their other customers onto the platform, and they will add on the 5% fee because they don't want two systems. They don't want to do, hey, will you Venmo me? Will you Cash at me? They don't want to hassle with that anymore, and everything just kind of happens like clockwork for them. And so yeah, that's the only cost. Now there's also the credit card fees, 3%
Mm-hmm.
for Stripe, which is kind of crazy. Like they take almost as much as we do, um, just to process the payment. But anyway, we keep it super low just because we've got the long view on this platform. We want to get to 1 million users, 1 million people using it, and we feel like we'll get there in the next couple of years. And that's how we make it sustainable, and that's how we make it a no-brainer for service providers.
So with a person getting paid, uh, well, actually, first so there's like no like onboarding fee or
No,
setup fee or anything like that. You
no,
just kind of like create a profile, upload the pictures, you get approved, and then you start sending out estimates. You do the work, you get paid.
that's right. Now we have a waiting list in most every major city. I don't think we have a waiting list in Denver, but in the early days, it was come one, come all. But now in most every major city, we do have a waiting list because we have too many vendors. But um, yeah, totally free to sign up.
How long
There's
is that waiting list typically? Do you know?
it can vary. Like in Nashville, it's over a year.
Wow.
In some cities, it could be a month. Further west, like if you live in San Jose, California, sign up. We need vendors. If you live in Bakersfield, California, we need vendors. For some reason, we can't get vendors out there. But if you live in Nashville, I mean, quite frankly, we got enough. If you live in anywhere in Florida, is a waiting list. Um, and so unless it's a small town like an Ocala or something. So yeah, it's totally free to use, other than 5%. Now here's the rub. Every customer you get on the platform, you got to keep them on the platform. You can't do them one time and say, hey, let's just do Zelle from now on and let me screw GreenPal. You can't do it. If you try to do that, you'll get your account deleted, and once it's gone forever. You can never sign up again. Once if you screw us like that, and some people try to, it's literally gone forever. That you can never sign up again because we map to your social security number for your payment processing. We map to your phone, your email, your IP. We literally fingerprint all that, and every day it's so sad, but like every day there's over 500, 700 vendors that try to sign up every day that already went through once, broke the rules, and get kicked out. So, so that's one thing I will say. You got to play by the rules.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, because if the platform isn't making its little 5%, then there is no money to market
Yeah,
for new customers for you.
yeah,
It's like
and
it's like
then
how do you
the whole system comes crashing down, and
collapses. Yeah, it's like
you're back to where you started. GreenPal's back to where it started without any money.
right. You kill the golden goose. Like
Yeah,
to make the thing work, we have to have. It's not like we're getting rich off this. Like you have to have some kind of margin to make it viable. And we tell pros, add it in. Do you think somebody's sitting there looking at your $45 price, and they're going to hire you based on $45 or $48? No.
yeah,
Like if your ratings are good and the price is right there, they can hire you right from their smartphone. 45 versus 48 ain't going to matter. Add the fee in.
yeah.
So
That's actually what I do.
yeah,
I use Copilot as my CRM. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I've heard of it. Yeah,
But yeah, this year my minimum mowing price is $40.
yeah,
And it doesn't matter how small the yard is. Like if it's a small parkway right next to the street and a sidewalk, it's like $40.
that's what it takes to get out there and drop the gate.
Yeah, but that price includes that that credit card processing fee that Stripe pays, because I require all of my customers to have a credit card on file before I'll do any work.
Yeah,
And I do my billing weekly, but just building that small fee into your pricing, because I see so many people out there. I'm a part of some Facebook groups, and everyone's like, oh, like I just signed up to take credit cards, and like, but I don't want to pay the fee. Well, first of
oh
all, like the
man,
fee is like
so
tax
short-sighted.
deductible.
Yeah, it's so short-sighted.
Your customers, like if they see $33, for their lawn mowing, and then all of a sudden, they get charged the fee, and it's 35.29 or something, with the added fee. They're going to be like, oh man, that sucks. Every other company, pretty much, anytime you use your credit card, like at the gas station, all those fees that they get charged are
Exactly.
built into the products they're selling.
Yeah, it's if you really like, it is like it is sad to see that mindset because you're observing somebody step over a dollar to pick up a dime. By
I like that.
by the time you screw with pinging somebody to Venmo you or Cash App you or God forbid give you cash or leave you a check that you got to deal with, by the time you have done that, you wasted the $2 or $3.
Hmm.
And by the time you've even thought about doing that, and then by the time you look at the jobs you don't get paid for because you left it to some kind of manual process, even if it is through a digital payment, you're still losing money. Whether you look at the credit card fees or like a platform like ours. Now, when you start getting into like 30%, then it starts to make sense. But a few bucks a transaction, I
Hmm.
mean, move on. Like move on. Figure out ways to make more money. Figure out ways to service more customers. Figure out why there's 10 customers that aren't doing business with you anymore. Like you'll make more money doing that than you will trying to like hassle somebody to cash app you.
Yeah, well, and even like, having like doing manual payments, either picking up a check or
Oh,
like that wastes your time. It
and
might be a little bit.
as a consumer, goodbye. Like, like no, I'm not doing that. Like I am literally not meeting with you face to face. Like if I'm a consumer and I hire somebody to like I don't know clean my house or something,
Hmm.
and they're like, hey, I want you to strike me a check. Goodbye. Like
Yeah.
I am not, I am not doing that. Like
Yeah, I don't think I've written a check in,
yeah,
gosh, like 10 years, it seems like. I
yeah,
mean, just no one uses checks anymore.
right.
It's yeah, it is Venmo, it's PayPal, it's Cash App, or or it's credit card.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like add it in. No, nobody's going to quibble over a couple of bucks because it's so much more convenient for the consumer.
Yeah. So I want to ask you. I don't know. Maybe we can get a few a little bit of mentorship from you. As far as like running a business. So I don't know. Maybe we can. Maybe I can ask. What's one thing? Because I want to help. Kind of like the small guys. The guys who I met a guy my first year. I saw him, mowing a lawn. I was like driving by. I pulled over, introduced myself, and just started chatting with him. And every week I would see him, wave hi and stuff. But started telling him like, hey, like raise your prices. He's like, well, what would you charge for this lawn? And I tell him my pricing, and I know you don't really want to compare, you know pricing and pricing and pricing and pricing from a bunch of different companies. Like you need to know what you need to make. But like my whole goal is just wanting to help other people out there, other business owners, like make money, because there's good money in mowing lawns and providing other services. So what's something that you could impart wisdom to a small lawn care company, or even a lawn care company that might have two employees plus the owner.
Yeah, man, it's a great question. So I agree. I think the home services industry, the landscaping industry, is a great way to improve your station in life. I know it did for me. I mean, I got lucky and I built a great team and worked hard, but I built an eight-figure company in this industry, and I know I'm gonna sound
Eight
super
figures. Wait, so that's at least 10 million, right?
10 million
Yeah.
bucks a
Wow.
year, and I don't mean to sound arrogant, and I'm not trying to brag. I'm trying to be authentic and real.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I was a millionaire by 28, literally like had $1 million net worth by 28 years old because of the landscaping business. And so if I did it, anybody listening to this can do it. And so I think the first thing is begin with the end in mind. Like, where are you trying to get to? Because I don't think most people in business for themselves even know the answer to that. What does 5 years from today look like? What does 10 years from today look like? Do you want to have a super big company with 50 employees doing, $5 million a year in revenue? Is that your goal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If it is, then let's work backwards from that. And there's a lot of things we're going to have to do to get there. Maybe that's not your goal. Maybe your goal is I just don't want to work anymore in 10 years, and I want to be able to travel, and I want to be able to live life on my own terms and just do what I want to do. And I don't want to have a big company ever. Then that's a different path. Like, so let's like begin with the end in mind and first know what that looks like. And let's say you're going to go the second route. Let's say you just want to like maintain a super profitable business, two or three helpers, only high end work, um, and you don't have the appetite to run a huge company with 100 employees. Then you need to have the mindset of taking low quality revenue and turning it into high quality revenue. And so
Mm-hmm.
what do I mean by that? Let's face it, the money we make in the lawn care business is low quality revenue. No matter how good your profit margin is, even if you can charge a premium to your competitors, it's still low quality revenue. You had to go work for that. You had to go manually execute that service, or one of your people did. You have to maintain the equipment. You have to, like, it's very hands on, it's very in the trenches. It's still a good way to make a living, but it's low quality revenue. It's okay. Work your ass off in making that low quality revenue, but then turn it into high quality revenue. Take as much as you can, 10, 20, 30%, and invest it in real estate. Go buy some rental houses. Go put your money in the S&P 500 and let it sit and let that snowball. If you do that for a decade, you can get to a point where you don't have to work anymore. And that's kind of what my plan was when I was building my first company. I would buy a rental house every year. And during the wintertime when my guys were slow, we would go fix up my rentals, and it worked really well. And so I was taking low quality revenue and turning it into high quality revenue. That was 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still making passive income off of those investments I bought 20 years ago that came from the lawn mowing business. So that's the second piece of advice. Um, Third piece of advice, and I'll end with this, is as a business owner, you're going to be doing three things at once at all times. Actually, I'll give one more piece after this because it kind of fits with it. You're going to be doing three things at all times. You're going to be working in the business, meaning you're going to be mowing the yards, calling
Mm-hmm.
customers back, making sure everybody's happy. Second thing is you're going to be working on the business. You mentioned earlier, I got a CRM, I got a billing system. What's my marketing system? I got to recruit an employee. How am I going to train him? I want to get 5 employees. I need an employee training system. What's my customer satisfaction system? How do I know people are happy with my services? What's my system for getting customers that don't do business with me anymore to come back and do business with me? What's my system for that? Working on the business. And then the third thing is you're working on yourself. Every small business reaches a choke point of what the founder's capabilities are.
Yeah.
How good are you? What's your sales, what do your sales skills look like? What does your negotiation skills look like? What does your people management skills look like? What is your leadership style? What's your management style? How good are you at copywriting? How good are you, how good are you at I don't know, at estimating? How good are your estimates? Like, you're working on yourself. And so when you're first getting started, Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday is in the business. Maybe Saturday afternoon is on the business, and then Sunday's on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then as time goes on, that inverts to where 90% of your time is on the business and on yourself, and then 10% is in the business if you're doing it right. So that's the second piece of advice. Third piece of advice would be, look, like, I read a book once called A Million Miles in a Thousand Years. And one of the things that the author Donald Miller talks about is to live an interesting life, you have to do interesting things. And to live an interesting life, you have to have an interesting story. And to have an interesting story, you have to do interesting things. And for me, looking back, I'm reading this book, I'm looking back, like my business is the thing that is the storyline to my life. And I have done things that I never would have been able to do had I not been in business for myself. And so if you can look at the struggles you're facing in business in the context of this is my life's journey and the business is the storyline to my life, and it's the thing that's carrying me places I never would have gone otherwise, causing me to level up every level of the game. It can help clarify a lot of things. It can help clarify a lot of struggles that you might go through as a business owner.
Yeah. Wow, great advice, Bryan. I appreciate that. Are you guys going to be at Equip Expo? Have you guys ever been?
We've been a couple times. Going to try to make it this year. It's usually every October, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
middle of
yeah,
October.
in Louisville. Yeah, we're gonna try to be there. And there's a few people that I need to meet when I get there.
Are you guys going to have a booth there?
No, we won't have a booth. But
Well, if you do go, I'm going. So,
Okay.
maybe have Sarah reach out to me or something on email, and let me know if you guys are there. I'd love to meet you in person and shake your hand, and maybe we could record a shorter podcast
Would love to,
there, and
man.
maybe just get a few more little tidbits of information for lawn care companies out there.
Would love it. Would love it. I have a passion for people working their ass off in this industry. I wouldn't be where I am today. I would never have amounted to much of anything had I not started pushing a mower in high school. So,
Yeah.
stick it out, guys. It's worth it. I promise you it is. And yeah, if we make it out to Louisville, I'll definitely link up with you.
Sweet. So where can people find GreenPal? Like the email address, websites, phone numbers. Can they call?
Yeah.
Give me that information.
Go to greenpal.com, scroll down to the bottom, click sign up as a provider if anybody wants to check it out. Free to check out. And anybody who wants to hit me up, find me on Instagram, Bryan M. Clayton. Just drop me a DM there.
If you guys are interested in GreenPal, check them out. Especially if you're in one of the busier markets. Definitely sign up now because that waiting list I'm sure is only going to get bigger. And you want to get your foot in the door. If you're in California, sign up now because that's where they need people. But yeah, Bryan. Well, I appreciate your time. It's a early Saturday morning for me. What time zone are you in? Eastern?
I'm in Central.
Central. Okay, so you're about an hour ahead of me. But yeah, I had to wake up a little bit early on Saturday here in Denver, but I appreciate your time
You're not mowing any today?
No, I
You got it
usually,
figured out.
huh?
You got it figured out then.
What was that?
You got it figured out then, not having to work Saturday.
I do so far. Yeah, this is actually my fourth year in business.
Nice.
And
Congratulations. That's great, man. It's hard to do that.
it is. So yeah, guys, check out GreenPal and check out Bryan on Instagram. And also, don't forget, if you guys are actually looking for any marketing materials, you can check out lawncaremedia.com and look at the flyers, the postcards, all that stuff. And don't forget to use code NINJA to save 20%, I think it is, on any of your purchases. And yeah, Bryan, again, thanks, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Later.